What if I told you the biggest mistake Disney could make with the Heroes of Olympus or Kane Chronicles is making them a live action series? Look, I love a good live action adaptation. They're fun, it's cool to see things you've imagined in your head come to life on the screen being portrayed by actors you like or actresses you like. But these stories, they aren't built for realism. They're built for something way bigger, something mythological. And I think that animation might be the only way to do them actual justice. First off, we're going to talk about scale, right? We're talking about giants the size of mountains, gods who can shift forms and control the elements and rule over the world and are actual manifestations of the different elements in the world, and entire mythological realms like Tartarus, Olympus, or if we're talking about the Kane Chronicles, the Duat. In live action, that either becomes insanely expensive or honestly kind of underwhelming. Animation doesn't have that problem. You can go as big and as wild as the story needs. No compromises. Second, mythology should actually feel mythological or magical, right? Live action forces everything to look a little bit grounded. But these stories aren't grounded. They're surreal. Yes, they're symbolic, and sometimes they're straight up cosmic. Animation lets gods feel like gods. It lets magic look unpredictable, ancient, and above all, animation allows it to look alive, like it has a soul. Point three, I think, that's important in terms of why we should animate these shows or these books into shows instead of doing live action is combat. Demigod fights, elemental powers, right? Egyptian magic with hieroglyphs flying everywhere. This stuff needs color. It needs speed. It needs like a highlighted aura. It needs style. Animation gives you that. Animation gives you fluid, expressive, almost anime level action. Although, I don't think we should necessarily compare it to anime because there's plenty of animation in the Western world that is just as good or even better than anime. And so, animation gives you this ability to make every character or even every fight look different, look epic. Live action just can't keep up with that. Additionally, another point that I think is important to bring up is these series have huge casts, right? In live action, you run into like the obvious problem of aging actors, scheduling issues, budget cuts, etc., etc. But in animation, you can keep them consistent. Everyone stays consistent. And you actually get to develop all of these characters properly over time. Now, specifically, let's talk about, the Duat, right, in the Kane Chronicles. What is the Duat, right? It's a layered, constantly shifting magical dimension. It's abstract, it's symbolic, it's very dreamlike. In live action, that probably turns into a generic CGI space. It won't look as cool, but in animation, it could be one of the most visually unique worlds we've ever seen. Finally, the tone, right? These stories balance humor and darkness really well. Animation handles that balance very beautifully. You can go from funny to emotional to intense without it feeling weird or out of place. And honestly, at the end of the day, I like animation because it stands out more. It looks really cool. Everyone's doing live action fantasy, but a bold, high quality animated adaptation, that's how you create something unforgettable. At the end of the day, these stories were never meant to look real, they were meant to feel legendary. And animation, I think, is one of the only mediums that can truly bring these legendary stories to life in a respectful and accurate way.